you're a purist, look away, but if you like the sound of a Snickers Baklava, we have got it for you. So first thing we're gonna do is make our caramel. So we've just got a saucepan here, and I've got some golden syrup, and then I've got some raw caster sugar. I'm using raw because it just kind of gives that backing of being a caramel, so go straight in. And 100 mils of water. We're just gonna stir that up on medium heat until that sugar has dissolved, and then we're just gonna set it aside to cool and get on with making the baklava layers. And we're just gonna blitz up some of the peanuts. So these are roasted, unsalted peanuts. And I'll just do them in a couple of batches so we don't get too big of pieces. So we'll just get that into our bowl and just repeat that with the rest of the peanuts. I've got some dark and some milk chocolate, and we're just gonna grate that on the coarse side of the grater and then add that to our mixture. And then those pieces that you didn't want to grate your fingers off for, we're just gonna give them a fine chop. But once you've got some chunks in there, go into our bowl again. And then you just want to give everything a bit of a toss. So we've got our tray, which we're going to layer our baklava into. I've greased it, and I'm just going to line it with a sheet of baking paper. And what I've got is our FILO pastry. We need to trim it to the size of our tin. Just put it on the edge and just use it as a stencil to cut around. And just make sure you keep it under a damp cloth so it doesn't dry out while we're doing our layering. And then we've just got some melted butter here, and then just grease this pan lightly. And then we're gonna go with 6 layers at a time. It does take a little bit of patience, but it is really worth it in the end. So each time you put a layer of the FILO down, give it another brush of some of the butter. So not too much, just enough to coat it. So we've got our 6 layers of FILO down, and then I'm gonna go with roughly about 1/3 of this mixture and just scatter it on the top so it's completely covered. And then just smooth it out a bit the back of your spoon. And then again, another 6 layers, keep on greasing them each time. And we're gonna repeat that another 2 times, so we've got 3 layers of the peanut and chocolate. So we're on our second last layer here. I've kept some of the chocolate and peanut mixture because it's nice as a garnish. When we're going with our last layer of FILO, before you put the butter down, just press down with your hands and kind of compress everything down. Final layer of butter. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this in the freezer for 10 minutes. When we are scoring baklava, you only want to do the top layer. You don't want to go all the way through while it's baking. So roughly divide your pan up into 4. I'm using a ruler because I want it to look pretty. Just scoring the top layer. So now that I've got my 4 lines here, we're now going to connect each of those corners into a diamond pattern. So just scoring along the edge at a 45-degree angle. And then as it bakes, those layers of chocolate and peanut are gonna kind of melt into each other, and then we're gonna have this very hot baklava, and we're gonna pour over our cooled syrup. So we'll go into the oven at 180 for about 35 minutes. Okay, so we've got our hot baklava, and we've got our cooled syrup. So just carefully pour over that syrup all over, and then we'll just let it sit for an hour or so just to soak up. Okay, so we're ready to dish up. So what we need to do first in that diamond pattern is just cut through all of the layers. So we've got all these great layers of peanut, chocolate, the caramel, so all the goodness of a Snickers bar in a baklava. The original recipe is great, but this is a pretty awesome rendition, I think. So for all the details on how to join Delicious Bake Club, head to the website.